Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh Shem El Shaddai Shem Kodash. Shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect out there. Shalom to you all. Anyway, this is going to be a sort of response to a video that was put up by Dante Fortson entitled Dr. Michael Brown Calls Guerrilla Hebrew a Fake Israelite. Well, Guerrilla Hebrew is not a fake Israelite. He's an Israelite because his father's an Israelite. But the title of this video is you are an Israelite based upon your father's seed. So you are what your father is. If your father is an Israelite, his lineage, his father's father goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's the line you got to come from consistently. Whether there's a woman of another nation that you deal with, regardless. If a man of Israel slept with a Moabite woman, the son or the daughter came out as an Israelite. But the lineage goes through the sons, not through the daughters, unless that daughter is husband is another Israelite. So that's why you have Israelites looking like many different colors, many different shades, many different what's the term? Your facial features is there's a term for it. I forget the term. It makes a Moabite, have that certain look, makes a Canaanite have a certain look, makes an Edomite have a certain look. It'll come back to me. Can't even, it's right on the tip of my tongue. I can't believe this. It'll come back to me. Anyway, let me let you listen. Somebody just help me out. I can't think of the actual term.
No one is disputing that Israelite men, Jewish men as they scattered around the world, intermarried with Gentile women who converted to Judaism. That's how you have Black Jews.
Yeah, and that's what you so-called Europeans that you converted to Judaism, and that goes back. Well, that goes back as far as it even goes back further than that. But there was a great conversion. Let's use the word since he's using it in the book of Josephus. By the power of the priests that came out of the Maccabees lineage, Hyrcanus. In other words, they made Edomites keep the law, statutes, and commandments. So there were Edomites that actually believed that they were Israelites. So let's listen to some more. A phenotype is the word, if I'm not mistaken. Phenotype is the word. Matter of fact, let me look it up. Phenotype, definition.
Here's the definition of phenotype: the set of observable characteristics of an individual resulting from the interaction of its genotype with the environment.
In genetics, the phenotype is a set of observable characteristics or traits of an organism. Now we know, like you have bugs. Bugs have certain phenotypes. You have animals. The cat has a different phenotype than a dog. A lion has a different phenotype than a lion, so forth and so on. The term covers the organisms more morpho, morphologic, morphology, its development process, its biochemical and physiological properties, its behavior, and the products of behavior. Let me do this. Okay, let me see this. Phenotype. These are not lions and these are not humans. But phenotype is you have a Moabite, which looks totally different from an Edomite. You know, you might have a longer nose, you know, certain, how can I say, you know, Edomites have a elongated head, elongated nose, thin lips. We come back over here. What is a simple definition of phenotype? Let's see what they say. Phenotype refers to the individual's observable traits. Yeah, the nose, the eyes. You can, you know, tell a Moabite or Ammonite by mainly the eyes. The head is usually rounded, such as height, eye color, right? Like you have Edomites with blue eyes. Not all of them, but you have Edomites with blue eyes. It's a rarity to see a Hamite or one of the tribes with blue eyes. And blood type, a person's phenotype is determined by both the genomic makeup and environmental factors. So if you're a so-called white woman, and this happened in chattel slavery, a lot of the white woman mistresses had sex with the black slave men, Israelite men, and they couldn't really do an abortion. They could stick them up their thing, but they couldn't do a medical abortion, no abortion clinics. So the slave, the master would come back and she would be showing. Now, when the baby's born, the baby looks quite darker, you know, woolly hair. And then he knows that she had laid down with a slave. And he either killed the slave, killed the woman, or just killed the slave. So the phenotype was different. So, I mean, those are some examples. Like we call this clown here, we call him Dr. Quaz Brown because he has the features. He looks like Quaz, the god of the Edomites. The elongated nose, the elongated head. So let's listen to some more.
That's how you have white Jews. And it's in the Bible.
If you have a white Jew, if you have somebody in it, well, you have to have it. There's a lot of mixing going on, and these so-called European Jews that went back to Israel, a lot of them were of Irish descent, Italian descent. There's a lot of mixture going on, and so you're going to have certain European-looking white people, so you can understand that claim to be Jews that actually are Jews. You're going to have our people, which have a certain phenotype, you know, black feature, phenotype, nose different, eyes, head different, and but that's a Edomite. So you're gonna have Edomites that look like Jake. You're gonna have Jake that look like Edom, the Edomites and the Moabites. So when you got to be careful when you're speaking to somebody on the street. Guy appears to be an Edomite. It could be a Jake. So let's listen to some more.
You have Rahab, the prostitute, who becomes an Israelite, and
she does not become an Israelite. She does not become an Israelite. I don't care how many children she has has from a Jake. That does not. She can have 1,000 children. That doesn't make her, in the 500 child she becomes an Israelite. No, she's a Moabite, Canaanite, Ammonite, Edomite. In this case, she was a Canaanite. So, what are we going to do with her in the kingdom? She's not gonna be on the level of an Israelite woman. I tell you that. So, you know, these people like Dr. Brown and Vocab, they'll say, well, there's another example in the book, one of the Chronicles, and we told him, he came out to the speaking, that doesn't make that guy an Israelite. You know, he's going to go into the example of Ruth, the Moabite, and we know she was a Moabite because she turned her back on the gods of the Moabite and she followed the God of Israel, which is Yahweh. Now, she never turned into, even though through her line, through her womb came ultimately came King David. You have David, Jesse, Obed, and Boaz. Hope I got in the right order. But anyway, she never became an Israelite. Even though she said, wherever you go, I will go. Wherever thou doeth, I will do. Whatever you like. And that's the traits of a woman. That's a wife. Stay away from the black woman. Just saying, because she's completely out of order. These Jakes, that's athletes and even entertainers that get Edomite women. It's very rare that there's any problems with that Edomite woman. They'll grow old together, have children, and that's just a fact. It's very rare that you see a so-called black woman, a black man, that a guy, the man might be an athlete. It's always some shit with these black women. You don't deal with the black woman. She's not the way to go. So let's listen to a little bit more.
She now factors in royal genealogies ultimately.
Okay, she does factor in royal genealogies, but that doesn't make her of the royal genealogy. Okay, that doesn't make her an Israelite. Let's go to the next clip. This is fair use, fair use.
An idol worshiping people. She becomes part of the people of Israel. She converts to the Israelite faith, worshiping people. You have Ruth, the Moabite, an idol worshiping people. She becomes part of the people of Israel. She converts to the Israelite faith, and she's in the lineage of David and of Jesus the Messiah.
But that does not make her, an Israelite. I don't care how many children she conceived and produced through an Israelite man. That does not make her an Israelite. And see, and now these JJs are telling on themselves because they will tell you that they converted to Judaism. You can't convert. I can't convert to a Chinese. Either I'm a Chinese or I can learn. I can eat with chopstick. I can speak Mandarin or Cantonese language. I believe there's 2 languages in China. I can learn to speak it. I can eat the food. I can do the gestures. I can have a Moabite wife. That doesn't make me a Moabite. So, when you convert to something, meaning you convert, that means you're following their ways. That doesn't make you that particular nation. So this man is a so-called educated scholar. You identify him as a sort of a scholar, but he really does. You finding out as you do these research, as you go to the what is it, the Bible Hub or the commentary. Anytime I go to the commentary, it'll be about 6 or 7 different commenters or these scholars, whatever, and they all contradict each other. You know, one guy might say one thing, and another guy might say completely something completely different. So the Most High is not dealing with them. So you don't have to take the scholars seriously. Now, if they say something that agrees with what we're saying, you can note that. You can say, see, even the scholars agree to that. So let's listen to a little bit more.
I'm just gonna be honest here, Dr. Brown. I feel like this is
See if there's some more. Okay, I guess there's one more. Let's see Dr. Brown put his foot in his mouth again.
Happened throughout our history. In fact, the fact that Guerrilla Hebrew's mother is happened.
say you don't see it, and I'm just gonna go ahead and let you continue.
So this has happened throughout our history. In fact, the fact that Guerrilla Hebrew's mother was white Gentile, to me, did not disqualify him from being an Israelite. According to everything I understand, his DNA says he's not an Israelite, so he's a fake Israelite in that regard.
So, and I saw that there was a little debate with him in Garfield, maybe 2 years ago, that he did a DNA search, and he said his line goes back to the Sudan, which the people of the Sudan. You have now South Sudan and North Sudan. I believe the U.S. took the South. Anytime you hear of a country like Korea, North Korea, and South Korea, that Esau was involved. That they caused a split up. Because at one time it was just known as the Sudan. At one time it was just known as Korea. So Esau was involved in that. And they occupied one part of the land. So, you know, Guerrilla Hebrew said he checked his lineage and it went back to the Sudan, the Sudanese people, which are the actual Israelites. Now that's talking about his father's lineage. So did that make him a Sudanese? It could, but he did some further research and found out you had Israelites that mixed their seed among the people of Sudan or the Egyptians. So really, you got to go by the Spirit. You know that you're an Israelite through the Spirit. Ultimately, is it possible that he could be an Israelite? Yes, it's possible. He better hope he's an Israelite.
But this is through history. No one's disputing that.
I just want to take a second right now to give a shout out to Deacon, shout out to Sakari, shout out to Guerrilla Hebrew. Now, Dr. Brown, I'm going to call it out, and I find it interesting that while you're complaining about people calling you fake Jews, you just call somebody else a fake Jew. I just wanted to point it out. If you guys don't want it, then don't dish it out to other people. That's what I'm going to say on that. I have no comments about Guerrilla Hebrew, his DNA, or any of that. I'm not the DNA guy. But I did just want to point out the hypocrisy right there in calling someone a fake Jew while complaining about being called a fake Jew.
Yeah, so this was a short one. You know, I kind of came across this. Anyway, let's see where we're going to go with this here. I was going to go into you know what I'm going to do? Let me do this. I'm right here. Wisdom of Solomon 7 verse 2. Matter of fact, let me go to 1. How do we get to 1? Context. Okay, so give me the first 3 verses. I myself also am a mortal man, meaning a man that gets old and dies, like to all an offspring of him that was first made on earth, talking about Adam, but Adam was made, Adam was, there were many men and women made. And in my mother's womb was fashioned to be flesh in the time of 10 months, usually 10 months, being compacted in blood of the seed, no matter the seed, from the seed of David, as we know, but his mother was of another nation. So you got these certain guys out there, Israelites, to say, well, if your mother is not an Israelite, then you're not an Israelite, even though your father's an Israelite. I believe it's Fopi that teaches that. And they did a video some years back on centering around Gorilla Hebrew or Al-Azhar, that he's really like a half